Thank you for joining me for another Erik Wait whiskey study. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Garrison Brothers Texas Straight Bourbon. This is the single barrel, hand-selected by master distiller Donis Todd. I picked this up while I was at the distillery. It is certified Texas whiskey. You see right there, if you want to know what that is. Check out the discussion I had with Spencer Whalen, the CEO of the Texas Whiskey Association. We talked a little bit about that. I put a link to that video at the end of this one. I already reviewed one other Garrison Brothers whiskey, so I want to sort of do a comparison with that one. But before I do so, here are my notes. Garrison Brothers Single Barrel Texas Straight Bourbon Whiskey. The corn variety used in the mash is the #1 Panhandle White, derived from the Dallam County farm. The corn harvest took place in 2013. It was then distilled and barreled in 2014 with the release date of 2018. Spent 3 years in oak. This is bottled number 5754, bottled at 47% alcohol by volume. Alrighty, so this is a nice sort of golden amber, slightly copper in color on the nose. Intense aromas of, actually get a little bit of wood smoke. I get a character that I also got on this one. This is the Garrison Brothers Texas Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This is a 2016 vintage. So this is a single barrel, where this one is a blend. This is actually a slightly older edition. They have some newer editions currently out. What I'm not getting on this one, this seemed a little bit younger on the nose. I was getting sort of like a green apple character to it on the front. This one, what I get, you know, some bourbons on the back end, they'll have like this peanut butter note. I say particularly, say like Booker's Kitchen, the 2018-04 edition. I was getting sort of like a peanut butter note on the back end. I get this straight up front. So where some other bourbons have a peanut butter note in the back, or maybe it's a minor character, this is much more prominent. I then do get a sort of wood, sage. I get like a Texas brush character to it. Baked caramels, cooked corn, loads of vanilla, cinnamon, but really what really makes it stand out or distinguish itself from Kentucky bourbons, it is that and I think it's coming from the terroir. I think it's coming from the surroundings. It could come from the oak, but I actually think it comes from the surroundings. That is actually, just as a Islay whiskey can have some briny notes, salty sea breeze notes that you pick up off the ocean, I think in a similar character, this picks up some surrounding aromas from the land, a sense of terroir or provenance. Also has slight, I would say, a little bit of a chocolate note as well. All right, on the palate. So if you saw my review of this one, if you didn't, I'll put a link to it at the end of this. This had some youthful character on the front end. I would say I'm not in love with that trait, but it wasn't off-putting. From the mid palate to the finish, those sort of notes sort of faded. And it wasn't so green like I've had, super green, let's say like I've had for some California bourbons that just didn't get enough time in the oak, or it's just too cool of a climate. There's not enough interaction between the spirit and the oak. This didn't have that problem. However, this doesn't have any of those sort of youthful notes whatsoever. It does have a slight tingle, just a slight bite to it. I would actually say this one had a much more of a bite to it. This one, I preferred it on ice to sort of reduce that sort of bite to it. This I've had on ice, I've had it straight, I've had it with a little bit of water. I've got it now, you can see right getting into the star, so it's past the shoulders, which is probably about the sweet spot for starting to really understand and judge a whiskey. Has a little bit of sweetness on the front. It then goes drier in the mid to the finish. I would say on the palate, I get more classic bourbon notes. I would say baked corn. So you can get caramel corn, you get canned corn, you can get caramelized corn, you can get all kinds of different types of corn. This is baked corn. Now, have you ever done corn on a barbecue grill, where you actually just put it straight on the grill? That's more of what I'm getting with this. I do get sort of those woodsy notes in this as well, and the peanut butter character is definitely there. This is, or it's also sort of like fresh roasted peanuts as well. Have you ever had someone has a roaster and they roast some peanuts and they put it into a bag and have them roast and like sort of freshly roasted? I get that character as well. I do get a little bit of a chocolate note as well. So this one I gave 88 points. This one I'm going solid 90 points. I really like it. It has a medium to medium plus length finish. As I'm talking now, I'm still tasting it. Now, bottled at 47%, 94 proof. It feels more intense and more concentrated and more packed full of flavor than something at 47 proof. Taste it, although it doesn't necessarily have the heat and warmth of a 55 plus ABV. This does have the intensity of flavor of what I would expect from a higher ABV whiskey. So I really, really like it. Solid 90 points. All right, if you subscribe to this channel, I want to thank you very much. If you haven't yet subscribed, but you like watching my videos, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. Share with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and other social networking channels. And I've got one more bourbon from Garrison Brothers, which is my favorite, that is going to be coming up in my next review. All right, until next time, cheers. Hey, if you liked my review, be sure to check out these other whiskey videos.